Nigel Farage is fond of presenting himself as the plain-speaking man of the people, the pub-room patriot who cuts through political jargon, yet his tax arrangements tell a very different story. Now, when he had a problem with the bank, with Coutts, I was extraordinarily sympathetic. Now I'm not so sympathetic. His tax arrangements, they may be legal, but they are hardly the behaviour of a future Prime Minister who claims to embody integrity and fairness. Let's begin with the Clacton property. Last year, Farage announced he had just exchanged contracts on a house in his constituency. Later, under scrutiny, he admitted that he'd not bought it at all. His partner had. The distinction is not trivial, even though it's legal. If Farage had been the purchaser, he would have paid higher rate stamp duty, around $44,000 more. Because the house is in his partner's name as her main residence, the standard rate applied. That is not tax evasion, it's careful structuring, and it exposes Farage's eagerness to present himself as more rooted in Clacton than reality permits. When pressed by journalists such as Beth Rigby and Laura Kuenssberg, Farage bristled with indignation, insisting it's her money, her asset. Well, perhaps so. But he had repeatedly told the public that he had bought the property himself. In the context of Angela Rayner resigning over her own stamp duty problems, the optics are glaring. Farage is guilty of at least hypocrisy. One rule for him, another for others. The second issue is his company, Thorn in the Side Limited. All payments from GB News and other ventures are routed through this firm, allowing him to pay corporation tax at 25% rather than income tax of up to 45%. Again, entirely legal. Many contractors do the same, but this is not the populist image Farage likes to cultivate. He denounced elites for dodging taxes while adopting arrangements that minimise his own liability. In fact, since August 2024, he has made nearly £400,000 from GB News alone, a tidy sum channeled through his private company. Then there is the earlier flirtation with offshore trusts. In 2013, Farage admitted that he set up a family educational trust in the Isle of Man for inheritance tax purposes. He later closed it, calling it an error. Yet this shows a pattern. Whenever possible, he's explored ways to reduce tax. He's not unique in this, but nor is he a martyr to fairness, as he sometimes pretends. The deeper issue is trust and leadership. Leaders who aspire to govern must accept scrutiny of their finances. Sunak and Starmer have published their tax returns. Farage refuses, calling it an intrusion too far. That reluctance alone raises suspicions. If he has nothing to hide, why not show it? His deputy, Richard Tice, struggles when asked to defend these complexities. In recent interviews, he was forced into verbal knots, insisting Farage has no case to answer, but conceding he had no details. When the second-in-command cannot explain the leader's arrangements without floundering, it undermines credibility. Meanwhile, Farage lectures others. He called tax avoiders the common enemy. He condemned Angela Rayner as entitled, yet his own manoeuvres, partner-owned houses, corporate structures, offshore flirtations, look suspiciously like the very entitlement that he now derides. There is no evidence of illegality here at all. I'm not suggesting that. But politics is about perception as much as law, and voters expect consistency. They want a leader whose conduct matches his rhetoric. If Angela Rayner is going to castigate others for their own tax arrangements, then she must expect the same when she does something odd. And Farage too. Farage insists he speaks for working people in deprived Clacton, yet he is among the richest MPs, using sophisticated tax planning more associated with the city than with the seafront. In the end, the issue is not tax codes but moral authority. The man who promises to stop the boats within a fortnight, that's a fortnight of him passing the law, cannot even give a straight answer about who bought his house or what stamp duty was paid on it. He's made a career out of attacking elites, but when the mask slips, we see a man whose financial affairs look remarkably like those elites he denounces. That is the paradox of Nigel Farage, the self-styled tribune of the people, thin-skinned about scrutiny, unwilling to be transparent, and ever ready to take advantage of the very system he claims to despise. It may all be legal, but it's not leadership.